Hello there. I am live. Let's check to see if the mic is working. It is. We are going to get jump right into it. If you're joining me live, let me know that you are here and if the comments are working with StreamYard. So let me I'll make sure my screen can get up here and what we're going to be talking about sales evolution, turning leads into revenue at every stage. And this is really my philosophy, I guess, on how I think about sales. And this is not meant to be, I don't think it's anything radical. No, just how we capture attention and go through everything. So, again, let me just say hi. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Tanisha Molden. I am an intellectual property attorney here in the greater Detroit area, but I service clients all over the country. So my work really intersects from intellectual property as an attorney, but also as a brand strategist. And I just believe in my, guess say my slogan is to help you build your business, build your brand, and own everything that you are creating, all the intellectual property with that. And with that said, building your business is one of the key things that obviously you have to do to have a business, um, and using your time wisely. So, what we will cover today is we'll talk about a few key areas: building strong relationships, leveraging your social media for organic growth, because I have a lot of early stage entrepreneurs, and I think this is definitely relevant at this times. And then also we're going to discuss setting up systems to streamline your business and buying back your time. That should be a good one. Buying back your time by using advertising strategically. And by the end, I think you'll have a strong foundation of what a strong foundation to keep evolving your sales process. All right, let's get into mastering the journey here. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so the four pillars, like I said, that we will be going up is the building strong networks, growing organically online, and investing. Oh, wait, you'll see that it's a staircase, and I skipped the step. So streamlining sales systems and then investing in advertising, which is one of the key components to growing your business. Okay, I have a story to tell because I think this is relevant to being seen. And this is a great factor that we have to be aware of when you're growing a business and growing your brand. You want to be seen. So sometimes you don't realize how much, each interaction or person can influence your life, but many of us hold, I would think, our gifts um, close to us, and then we're scared to be seen or scared of failing or making mistakes. A personal connection is really no different. And as a kid, I would say that I think I was shy. And at the time, I had a mother who worked long hours and spent a lot of time with my teacher. So one of my teachers, Miss Fisher, who was my fifth grade teacher, and to this day, probably still one of my favorite teachers, um, she helped me see something in myself that I did not see. And hopefully this resonates for you. So she asked me to enter a contest and uh, an art contest at that. And she wasn't an art teacher because we had an art teacher, but she was not my art teacher. But she asked me to enter a contest. And my first thought is I was pretty terrified of doing that. And I thought I would not do a good job. And then people would notice me or notice my art. And, artists are sensitive anyway. Um, So that fear right there, I was feeling stuck, and I basically said no, but she really did encourage me just to show up as my best self and just do my best. And even though I wanted to hide, I did what she asked me, and I showed up and I gave it my best. And I did the artwork and I entered the contest. And guess you know what happened? I placed in the contest. I actually placed, and my artwork in fifth grade was displayed at the Fisher Building, which is I want to say the Fisher Building is probably one of the first General Motors headquarters back in the day. But even then, one thing that it did is it also went all the way to Japan. They sent my artwork to Japan to be on display in a school. So technically, I guess you could say I'm an international artist. Uh, but what Miss Fisher, I want to say, what she taught me is what I want to share with you is that sometimes it takes a small push to get you where you're going, that small push. And when you embrace those little pushes and step outside of your comfort zone, amazing things can happen. All right. Just be yourself. Don't be afraid to be seen. You never know what little step that little step can take you. So let's talk about the 1% rule. That said, the idea of the 1% rule, sometimes all it takes is one step forward. And this concept is by James Clear in his book, Atomic Habits. So we often get overwhelmed by all the choices we face as entrepreneurs, but it's those small, consistent steps that can make the biggest difference. The difference in a tiny improvement can make over time, a tiny improvement over time can be phenomenal. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. So take that into account. 37 times better by 1% each day. It's far more effective than trying to take a huge leap. Say you want to get 37% better in 1 day instead of just 1%, which often, if you did try to do that, often leads to overwhelm and burnout. And as we go through the steps today, you'll see how making small changes, one bit at a time, can transform your sales strategy. Everyone's strategy will be different, but the steps and evolutions I'm sharing will apply to everyone. So as you're sitting here thinking about what small 1% changes you can begin to implement, don't worry about making drastic leaps today. Just focus on steady incremental improvements. All right. let- There we go. Here we go. The sales evolution staircase. Uh, so the sales evolution staircase, at what we have here is the first stage. At the first stage, we have the connector, and this is our overview. The connector is networking and personal relationships. So this stage, the entrepreneur, you are focused on networking, building personal relationships, and using word of mouth to get your first sales. The focus here is on leveraging like your immediate circle, those people you know, and sometimes they call it warm leads to start generating sales. And let me just say that I am sharing these steps. And what I believe, although I'm sharing these steps, there are systems to help execute on these steps. And that is something that I can help support. So there are systems that support these. And if you want to know more about those, I will share the link to book a call with me so I can share how you can execute on being the best connector. There are tools and resources that I use to get those things done, but that can totally happen to execute on these and turning the connector. How do you turn connections into leads and sales? The next step is the influencer. Once connections are built, the next step is becoming the influencer. At that stage, you are mastering social media. Let's pull that in. Growing your presence and creating content that drives engagement. This is where you will use your, or where organic growth happens. You're not doing anything paid. This is just organic conversations, engagements that you're doing online. And what you're doing is showcasing your expertise and engaging your audience on the platform. So that could be Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I'm really big on LinkedIn right now, and I have a whole system to engage LinkedIn or increase your visibility and followers on LinkedIn. Ask me about it, and uh, anytime, ask me about it. So our next step is the organizer. So we're systematizing your intake. So but this next move, when things get, you want to get more efficient with the leads that you're generating and following up on them. So the organizer, you're going, this stage is that you're setting up your systems and automations. I want you to do automations to manage the leads and the inquiries that you are creating through a smooth intake and sales process. And we're going to systematizing this process is really critical to how you handle leads in a way, and it will save you time. It will save you time, and it most importantly avoid missed opportunities. One of the systemized things I did yesterday, and I try to give real life examples that I received a message after a engagement. After using, I have the tool for the connector, app that I use. After using that tool and gaining the contact information from the individual at the connecting, because I was in a real networking event, I followed up with the next step, which was the influencer. And then I sent that person what was it, automatic? I don't know, probably automatic. Yes, an automatic text message and email. And then their response to me is said, my follow-up game is impeccable. That's because I put systems in place to get the appointment. All right. So then we have the investor, and this is where we focus on buying back your time. Using ads is buying back your time. So all the time that you were spending networking, you don't necessarily have to go to all these networking events now, because you're going to use the paid ads to take the place of that. So at this stage, you're investing in that to scale your efforts and automate your lead generation. And this will increase your time, free up your time, so you can focus on growth and other key areas in your business, because as you're growing, you're going to unearth new problems, right? So that's what we have: the connector, the influencer, the organizer, and the investor. So let's get into each point. Let's see. Oh, yep, it's showing each point. So we have the connector. At the beginning, especially if you're a solo, you're a one-man shop, one-woman shop, you are the salesperson. Remember that. You are the salesperson. It's all about building personal relationships and trust. I think it's always about building personal relationships, to be honest. But really, at this stage, you're really just coming into your own and understanding how that works, and build relationships and trust. Because at this stage, people buy from those they know, like, and trust. If you haven't heard that, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And there's something important, and here's something I think important to remember. At this point, in your journey, you probably have the most time available to focus on these relationships. And that's what we are, that's why we're here. The first stage is the connector. So what do we want to do? Attend local events and in your community. With this we can really dive into attending local networking events, start meetups, online. You can do online communities too. That's the same. It doesn't necessarily have to be like you physically there, but that align with what your business and where your people are that will buy your product or service. Um, it can be, like I said, virtual events, webinars, LinkedIn outreach. Yeah, are real ways to make connections. I am finding valuable ways to use, especially LinkedIn. You want to leverage your existing network. So you tap into your personal network. I call them your business besties. Leverage your business besties, your friends, your colleagues, people you already know. Those relationships are very critical when you're building up your business. They can be initially your initial source of leads and introductions and support, especially when trust is already established. I had a discovery call this morning, and out of that discovery call, they wanted to introduce me to someone else. So I would take it that we already know they know me, they like me, and they trusted me. They trusted enough to make a formal introduction. And I took that. They said they wanted to introduce me to someone else. And even though I know who they want to introduce me to, I made a request of them, can you send a message with what you got out of this meeting and why you know to them, and that you think they should talk to me. I still wanted that personal introduction from them to the third party. Even though we all know each other, I still wanted that to happen, because that brings more of a validity to what I do and how I can support them. And that is really important. So we have, I did say take advantage of building connections on LinkedIn. I cannot say that enough. LinkedIn has totally changed. I really should do some videos on about how we're building a brand on LinkedIn. Um, you have time to personalize your messages on LinkedIn and focus on genuine relationship building. I have had so many meetings and client relationships that have come out of that. It isn't sometimes when it comes to building relationships, sometimes it's not necessarily a sale right away, but you're getting more people to know about what you do and you're building that rapport and trust. So build that. Let's see. Do I have any tips for this? Oh, um, um, mm, the tip is you take advantage of the time that you have. Yeah. So right now you have more time. So the tip is take advantage of the time that you have right now to build deep, meaningful relationships. Networking is about creating strong foundations. So that is my tip there. Stage two, I call this stage the influencer. And at this stage, we really focus on now using the social media platforms to generate leads organically. We're not paying for anything at this time we're not paying for ads. It's all about building your presence and your credibility and your authority in your field while learning what language resonates with your audience. And that really boils down to validating your offer. Validating your offer means learning about what language will resonate with your customers, and also is about generating revenue. So to validate your offer, there are a couple of things. You want to obviously get market research done. You want to brand, and you want to generate revenue. So validation is important to get that done. And then it's the social media platforms make it easy for us to do that. So we want to create authentic content. Authentic, you want to grow organically. So in that content, what you create is valuable, and the feedback you receive is very valuable. Think about what your audience cares about and how you can help them solve problems and answer questions for them. This is also a great time to test market language. You want to experiment with different phrases, tones, content formats to see what gets the best reaction from your audience and the best engagement. And you want to be consistent. Engagement is the key. I have engaged consistently. Engagement is the key. It's not just about posting content, it's about creating a conversation. So if you get anything from the influencer stage, it really is about creating conversations. You want to reply to comments, answer questions, and show up Show up consistently. Show up consistently. So use the feedback from the interactions and you use that feedback to fine tune your messaging. And if you're in my community, there will be additional workshops happening next month for that very purpose. How we go, I will be sharing how I go about fine tuning messaging, how we go back and look at posts. Um, use your content to test what resonates because it doesn't cost anything to post. You post, you pay attention to the post that gets the most engagement, you take note of what language, style, or content that connected with your audience, and this will help you refine your messaging in future stages as you scale up. You want to leverage the platforms and focus on building your organic reach. And there's many ways to do that. Just start that 1%. We're just starting with the 1%, and that 1% rule that I was talking about, and finding your voice and refining it with your messaging. Oops. All right. Our third stage is the organizer, and this is where we focus on systems. So at this stage, we're no longer handling every lead manually, and it's time to set up a more streamlined, like intake process, sales system to handle inquiries efficiently. And that's always going to be a work in progress. Those are things that I'm constantly updating, adding on new emails, adding on follow up, seeing what is possibly broken in the system, what fell is falling through the cracks, and making sure we're staying up to date on following up with people. So you want to set up, your goal is to create a process that handles leads smoothly from start to finish. So whether it's managing new client inquiries or processing sales, the idea is to make sure nothing slips through the cracks, like I said. And you want to use tools. You can use CRMs to qualify. You can even use that to qualify them before you even get an appointment with them. And if you don't know what CRM means, CRM is customer or client relationship management. And these are different systems. There are plenty of systems that can be used. I know those that are in my LinkedIn visibility program, uh, I've given them access to a CRM to start to help jumpstart this for them, along with the system. So you get that also. But these tools really help qualify leads in automatic, like you sort them and organize them. It really takes a headache out of follow up. That's what we want to get to the next stage. And now that we have them in a CRM, now we can set up automations and manage appointments. If you're a service provider, manage where they are in your client journey, and ensure that everything really stays on track. I think we're on the fourth stage for the investor. I really get this. So I get this a lot with scaling with the ads, because I get people coming to me who want to do ads, but we haven't done the foundational first three steps. And it really is hard to climb a staircase without taking the additional steps. In order for you to leap up a couple of steps on a staircase, you really have to have some special skills or be out extraordinary, have long legs basically, to have that opportunity to skip a step. I haven't had that opportunity to skip steps, and nor do I have the length in my legs to do so. So I have to step on every step. And also, I think it's important to go through the process of stepping through every step. So now that we've reached the investor stage, once you get there, I will kind of want you to see where you're going, but this is where the investor phase is. In this stage, this is where you start investing in paid advertising to automate your lead generation. And you get the sense that now you're taking your time back. This is where I get that you take time back. The key is you want to think strategically, though, because it isn't just about spending money on ads. It's about tracking the results and getting a return on your investment before you do so. You can different platforms. So there's the big ones, Meta and Google. Obviously, will help you target your ideal audience. And how do you know they're your ideal audience? Because you've already established those conversations in the previous steps, right? Um, but they will really allow you to get really specific about who sees your ads and which means you reach more people. You reach more of the right people. Also, you have more data to work with. So you have more data, you have more metrics to work with, so you know what to do. With the ads, you obviously want to set a budget. It's not unless you have open open wallet, then you want to set a budget because it helps you control the spending and ensures you don't overspend. And most of them allow you actually have to put in a budget so it does not overspend. So I would say you could start small and you see what results you get, and you scale up and budget from there. And that's one of the services also that we are now going to be supporting through our the brand management. And the brand management goes through helping with the ad support, getting Google set up, the streamlining with the CRM, the LinkedIn, getting on social media, the LinkedIn visibility system, and also the in real life, I call it own the room application, where now you can go in real life as you're networking, capturing leads in the moment in a fun way. So it's more to come from that. And if you had the chance to, if you're a participant or had a chance to experience that, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are and on the Own the Room app. All right, here we are. Where are you on the staircase? Now that we walked through each stage, whether it's the connector, the influencer, the organizer, or the investor, I really think each has its own unique challenges and opportunities for growth. Uh, but you also get to revisit and refine each step as you scale. So I hope this was helpful. I really think this is important to know. And if you have any questions about anything, just reach out to me and I am happy to answer any questions.